more aggressive. I think we're going to see both players pushing early, and we're going to see a lot of small skirmishes in the middle of the map.
Do you think that the fact that this is a new map all of a sudden coming out here for the 3 games, that both players are used to the map that they were playing Starchild before for the first 2 games, do you think that this may limit the amount of aggression from these players?
No, I don't. I mean, it depends on the map, right? This is the weird map with those 2 stray mineral fields that we saw earlier. And, I'm not sure exactly what to say about it, but I really think, I think we're going to see a little bit of a forward barracks build by both players, outside of the natural expansion, but I definitely could be wrong.
So anyway, if you're just joining us, this is semifinal number 2, game number 3, the deciding game between Still Life and Melody, the 2 Terrans here. This is the Boss Arena Cup number 3. I am Jadius.
And I'm Beta.
And we're in the Wood League, and so are you. And thank you very much for tuning in on our live stream. Of course, the highlights of this tournament are going to be posted up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thewoodleague, in the next few days. I'm going to try to get as much as we can of this semifinal and finals up on that page for any of you who weren't able to tune in live. And it's been pretty exciting so far, Baez. I think these 2 semifinals have seen some pretty interesting play and some back and forth play. And
yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, there's been no Zerg players in the tournament, which I would like to see some Zerg players, but Zerg is the weakest race, unfortunately. So.
And no Zerg players in the semifinal and the finals, unfortunately. I think a Zerg won the Boss Arena number 1. And I believe a Terran.
Is that right?
I believe a Terran number 2 won number 2, and either a Terran or a Protoss will win number 3. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Zerg won the inaugural Boss Arena tournament, and it looks like pretty standard, pretty similar stuff that we've seen from these 2 players. Nothing super aggressive. We've seen Still Life a couple of times go for a forward barracks. Once it more or less worked, and that was a game that he won, and the second time it was found out pretty quickly, and that was the game that Melody won. And maybe, I'm feeling that maybe these 2 players are a little apprehensive. This is a do-or-die game for both of them. What are you thinking, Baez? I mean, pretty standard stuff, not much that we can read from this.
Well, exactly. I mean, a lot of money on the line here. Both players really nervous about making it or not making it to the next round. They're going to play carefully, but they're going to play as best they can. It's going to be a really exciting game. But I hope, hopefully these players will not be too cautious. Too much caution is never a good thing in StarCraft. You gotta get out there. You got to attack, and offense is the best defense.
Quick factories for both of them, both players. Again, we've seen that in the 2 first games. Neither of these players has gone more than 1 barracks from the beginning. They've both transitioned to factories right away, eventually getting more barracks down the line. I would have liked to see maybe a double barracks from one of these players right away, see how much he could do with some M&Ms, like an early push. I think both of these players fond of the starport units, as we see Melody going straight to a starport once again. Third game in a row he's done the same thing. And Still Life eventually did the same thing, and of course he did it again. So there it is, another starport from Still Life. And looks like pretty similar stuff from these 2 players. Still Life going for the siege tanks, which seemed to give him a bit of an early advantage in the last game, but eventually let him down.
Yeah, well, if he takes the siege tank right now, that's going to complete in the next 5 seconds, and if he attacks with it as well as his Marines, he might be able to do some serious damage here. Moving that siege tank in first, letting it tank, if you will, and bringing in the Marines in the back, all of Melody's Marines would just be shredded by that army. However,
Banshee
so
coming
hesitating here, not moving in.
Banshee coming out for Melody right now, and if the Banshee were able to get behind the Marines, it could get the siege tank down relatively quickly. Looking like army compositions pretty much identical, and then you've got the siege tank for Stalife, or two siege tanks rather right now, and the Banshees coming out for Melody. So that's going to be the difference makers. And Stalife, great anticipation here, using his starport to make Vikings rather than Banshees, which he has used in the past. So figuring Melody used his Banshees well in the last game, I'm going to try to take that out of the equation right away.
Yes, like I mentioned earlier, right? Neither player is attacking right now, and so neither player knows what the other has. Melody will now move in and realize that, oh, he built the wrong units to counter Stalife's army. He's going to run away this Banshee with its tail between his legs, and he's going to be in trouble here because Stalife, like you said, pumping Vikings, making some AA.
Yeah, he has made a missile turret. Looks like 2 more Vikings on the way for Stalife. So Stalife is going to totally negate any air harass, which is what took him down in the first game. A Viking came in uncontested, killed a lot of workers for Stalife. So going to go to the Banshees, shored up by Marines and tanks, and I like this a lot from Stalife. These tanks could really mow down the Marines that make up the bulk of Melody's ground forces. And,
But as much as Stalife happened to make the correct units, right? Like he's bringing in more Vikings to reinforce right now. Melody is the one who knows what Stalife has, right? Melody is the one who gets the jump on being able to build the counters to Stalife's army. Stalife is moving in right now, not knowing what he's going to be up against.
But I'm not sure Melody knows about these siege tanks. But siege tanks coming out for Melody as well. They're probably going to get farmed down here. That's a lot of resources wasted
tanks
for
going down
for
really
Melody.
fast.
Of course,
Caught out of position.
Yeah, it was unexpected there to see 3 siege tanks with a bunch of Marines at his front door. This Hellion going back here to Stalife's base, but the siege tank is going to work it down. And this is
looks like Stalife has way too much for Melody to handle right now. Siege tank's going into siege mode, and now the anti-air
perfectly positioned double Viking right there, and that's going to totally negate Melody's Banshees. And yeah, this is
not going to be able
big.
to continue mining.
And there is the GG. Pretty run and gun fast game there for our semifinal.